my presentation is about dressing for success. So we're just going to talk a little bit about what that looks like. Okay, so why do you need to dress for success? So this is going to be your first impression. So it's really important that whenever you're addressing anyone, that you respect them by dressing nice and dressing properly in that setting. So a lot of assumptions can be actually made about you based on what you're wearing or like just your appearance in general. So it also shows respect for your potential employer or the connection you're probably gonna make with someone. It also just like represents yourself in a great way. So they're gonna remember you if you dress properly. And then your presentation can portray confidence, professionalism, and authority, which you want to have all those qualities in an interview setting or just in any professional setting as it is. So a couple topics we're going to go over today. So I kind of divided this into women's attire, men's attire, and the types of attire. And then we're also going to discuss some tips and tricks for when you're getting ready. Okay, so let's keep going here. So let's go into women's attire. So what should you wear and what is actually appropriate for an office setting? So some accessories. So your shoes should be a closed-toe, unscuffed, and shined shoe. If you're wearing heels, they should be a mid-height heel, so 2 to 3 inches. That's what's most professional. It's also super comfortable. You really don't want to wear like a 4-inch heel or 5-inch because that's just not really, comfortable at all. And then in some casual settings, you can wear loafers or flats. And then those should also be unscuffed and shined, and they should look really professional. And then your shoes should actually match the bottom of your outfit. So whatever pants or skirt you're wearing, they should be around the same color. It just makes you look a lot more put together and professional. And then your shoes should probably be leather. You can get away with some other types of material, but leather looks the most professional. So yeah. And then, okay, so handbags. This is kind of a tough one because it's kind of changed over time, but now a lot of women are carrying like dual handbags. So it works as a purse and as a kind of like briefcase in a way. So they can put their laptop, all their supplies in there, and they can also keep their keys and their, personal belongings there too. So that's the best case scenario because you don't want to walk in with like 12 bags in your hand. So you want this bag to be a neutral color. So black, brown, that kind of thing. If you do have a purse that you want to carry alongside this, it needs to be super small and it should be concealed, or like hidden before you go in somewhere. Or like if you're working in an office, it should be put away so that's not in view. And then you also want to consider a bag that can hold everything. So like I was saying before, this is a smart way to go if you want to just carry one bag and have all of your essential items in there. And then you want to try to coordinate your bag with your shoes. It just makes it look a lot more put together and professional. So yeah. Okay, so some jewelry. You want to keep it very simple and conservative. You don't want to have a lot of flashy materials and a lot of flashy chains and stuff like that. It is acceptable to wear earrings and a necklace. And the earrings should be pretty small, probably like studs. You can get away with like small hoops, especially since that's kind of in style now. But you don't want to draw away from you and your like what you're presenting as a whole. So you want your jewelry to not speak for itself, kind of thing. So you are allowed to wear a quality watch or bracelet. A watch is recommended just so you don't even try to get on your phone and check the time because you have your watch right here. And then, yeah, a bracelet, you can wear that too. And so then it's preferably like allowed to have one ring per hand. So that could be your wedding ring and then another ring as well. So yeah, and then the makeup, you want to keep it light and simple, very natural. You don't want to go in with a lot of makeup or it just kind of like makes you look very professional and it makes you look like when you're in an interview setting, you want to try, but you also don't want to go super hard on the makeup. So yeah. Okay, so the clothing for women. So for if you're wearing a suit in that kind of situation, you want your suit to be a neutral tone. So black, navy, brown, or gray. These are just like the classic colors. You want to purchase a suit that doesn't wrinkle easily just because you will be sitting down a lot and you'll be standing up, walking around, and you want to make sure that your suit makes you look the best as possible all the time. And so you also want to make sure to iron or press your suit before you go in the office or to an interview. So a blouse should not be tight or show any cleavage. It should just be very modest and conservative. It's preferably like normal to wear light colors just because it's very professional looking. White goes well with a suit, and then any light blue or any like light colors like that. Then you want your blouse to be cotton or silk blend. Those are just like the most standard types of materials. Now there are a lot of different types of blouses, so that's okay if you have a different type of blend, but it's more common to wear cotton or silk. Okay, and then pants or skirts, so those should also be neutral tones, so black, navy, brown, or gray. Black is pretty much the most standard. You can match pretty much anything with that. Your pants or skirt should not be tight. They shouldn't be skin tight. They should just be like a nice, well-fitted pant or skirt to your body type. The fabric should be pressed and creased. That just really looks like you tried hard and that you took time out of your day to iron or to mess with your fabric and stuff before the interview. And then skirts should be knee length. Anything shorter than that isn't really acceptable for an office setting. You probably wouldn't want to do that. And then you want to avoid like high slits on your skirt, just because if you're walking upstairs or something, it could kind of show. And so it's just normal to try to wear something that doesn't have like a high slit. And then accessory or pantyhose is preferred when wearing skirts. That just makes it look a lot more professional and clean. So yeah. Okay, so that's all for women. So now we're gonna go into the men. So what should men wear in a professional setting, and what is actually appropriate in an office? So for them, their accessories are gonna be a closed-toe, unscuffed, polished shoe, like the one on the right. It could be an Oxford or a loafer. That's just the most standard type of shoe. And then they should be preferably leather, black or brown. That's pretty standard for all men's shoes. And then you also want to wear dark socks that match shoes. A lot of men wear kind of like crazy socks sometimes, and so it's just smarter for a professional setting to wear a neutral sock that doesn't take away from you as a whole. So yeah, and then ties, they should be simple. They should avoid bright colors or busy patterns. You shouldn't wear a bow tie to an interview setting or anything. That's pretty much for like a formal or cocktail kind of setting. And then just avoid clip-ons. It's really important to know how to tie a tie in a professional setting. So there's a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that will teach you too. So that's pretty great. And then your tie tip should touch your belt buckle. That's really important because you don't want it to be too short, too long. And men do notice that. So you want to make sure your tie is appropriate. And then your tie knot should conceal your shirt's collar. That's really important because like there's a bunch of different knots you could tie, but make sure whichever one you choose conceals your shirt's collar. Okay, and then belts. You want to match your belt to your shoes as closely as possible. It should be plain, neutral colored, and should have a simple belt buckle. You don't want to have like a super big belt buckle or anything like that. It should just be really simple and modest. And then a watch. A lot of men wear watches. Your watch should fit your body. So that means like if you have really small wrist, you don't want to get like a super big watch because that really doesn't fit your wrist and it doesn't really match your style, right? So you just want to try to like try on watches that will fit your body type and your wrist. And then buy different watch bands that'll match your outfit. That just shows like you went the extra mile to like put yourself together in a professional setting. And then solid colors like black, brown, or silver are easiest to match with like any outfit in general. Okay, so there's some accessories. So some clothing. So for the suits, you want to do neutral tones, just like the women. So that can be black, gray, navy, or dark gray. You also want to purchase a suit that does not wrinkle easily. So that's really important because just like women, men are walking around, sitting down, that kind of thing. So you want to make sure that whatever material you're going to buy doesn't wrinkle easily. Make sure to iron or press your suit. That just shows that you woke up early and you kind of did that to begin with and that you're trying to put a great impression. And then you want to avoid bright colors or busy patterns just on like a daily occasion. You don't want to wear like a red suit or anything like that because that just it's too showy for a business setting. And then shirts, they should be unstained and ironed. Yeah, I recommend wearing an undershirt just because that makes, especially if you're wearing a white shirt, that's going to cover anything and make it look a lot more sleek and clean. And then it should be long sleeve, button down, or collared, and collared. It should be all of those. And then it's preferred to wear a light colored white or light blue shirt. So yeah. And then for a casual setting, polos and sweaters will work in that case. A lot of men are allowed to wear short sleeve polos in a summer setting with like some khakis for a casual like business job or something like that. So yeah. And then pants, they should match your jacket. Your pant leg should touch the front of your shoe. I actually noticed one of my professors didn't have his pant leg touching his shoe. And after doing this presentation, I really didn't recognize that, but now I do recognize that, and it's really important to have that together. And then for casual setting, you can wear khakis and slacks. So yeah. Okay. So let's go into the attire. So the types of attire. So this is really important. If you don't know what to wear, just ask. Ask like your branch, ask your office, because in different settings, like New York is going to have a completely different business professional or business casual than the Tulsa office would, you know? So like you want to make sure that your business casual is also their business casual as well. Okay, so business professional. So when to wear this? You want to wear business professional clothing in an interview setting, for career fairs, for a strict dress code setting, for like first impressions, business meetings, or presentations, like an office presentation. Okay, so what does that look like for men's dress code? You want to wear a dark colored solid suit. So like this picture on the top or on the bottom, that's going to show you like a suit. That striped suit is it's acceptable, but for a first impression setting, a black suit would just be the most modest in that setting. And then you also want to wear a button down long sleeve shirt underneath that suit. So these business professional shirts, that's a really good image of what it looks like and what kind of cuff you can wear and that kind of thing. And then your tie should be simple and conservative. It should match your outfit. You also should wear a dark belt that matches your suit and your shoes. And then you should polish your leather Oxford. So that's a really important step. Okay. So what does it look like for the women's dress code? You should wear a neutral colored solid pantsuit or skirt suit. Those are both acceptable in a professional setting. A light colored blouse, no cleavage, just make sure it's really modest and conservative. This is really important for your first impression. And then a closed toe leather 2 to 3 inch heel. A heel is just gonna like, if you don't really like walking in heels, I mean, you could probably get away with just like a little slip on, but a 2 to 3 inch heel really shows that you took the extra mile to like get ready for the interview and stuff like that. And then you also want to wear neutral hosiery if you're wearing a skirt. That's really important. And then simple business like handbag, like we discussed earlier. It can be a purse and a handbag, but make sure your purse is really small. And then minimal jewelry. So yeah, this image on the right kind of shows different outfits, different suit colors, and then what it's appropriate for. So yeah. Okay, so that's business professional. We're gonna go into business casual. So when can you wear this? This is in an office setting, a relaxed but presentable setting, and more informal work environment. So this image right here kind of shows like she's holding up an outfit that's also business casual, and then she's wearing one that's also business casual. So there's a lot of different types of business casual that you can get away with. So let's go into that. So men, so you want to wear solid colored pants. So that could be slacks or khakis. A polo shirt, that's pretty casual. A shirt with a collar, that's pretty acceptable in a casual setting. And then Oxford or leather shoes or loafer shoes. And then a neutral belt that matches your shoes. And jackets and ties are optional, but like if you look at this traditional business casual guy, he looks pretty casual, but he threw a jacket on top of it with no tie, and it makes it still casual. But this guy on the right, he's just wearing a nice like collared shirt with khakis, and that's also casual. So it really just depends on what your office accepts as casual. Okay, so let's go into women. So for women, you want to wear a neutral colored slack or pants or skirt kind of thing. You can wear khakis too. And then you want your shirt to be a cotton, silk, or blend material. So there's a lot of different examples of this on the right. And then you're allowed to wear blouses or sweaters. Sweaters would be for winter occasion. You also have to kind of be careful with that. You want your sweater to be a really good material, really well made. And then you want to avoid low cut or billowy shirts. That's just because those aren't really professional in a business setting. And so you want to make sure that you're being modest. And then a professional dress or like at a conservative length is also acceptable for a casual setting. There's a couple examples of this on the right. And then heels should be 2 to 3 inches. You could also wear flats or loafers. You have a lot more mobility with your shoes in the casual setting. And then you can also carry a simple business-like handbag and then minimal jewelry. So yeah. So there's business casual. So we're gonna go into a couple others. So there's a couple others that are casual, smart casual, and formal. These aren't gonna be as like highly like talked about as the other two because those are the like most popular dress codes, but these will also be sometimes asked for in the office. So for a casual setting, that could possibly include t-shirts. If it's like a tech company, like a startup, and they all wear t-shirts and that's okay for them, yeah, wear a t-shirt in the office if you got the job. But that should never really be worn for like an interview or anything like that. Jeans, khakis, sneakers, loafers, or sandals, these can all be acceptable in a casual setting. Just make sure that the office you're in is that kind of casual, right? And then smart casual is what you see on the left. That's going to be like blazers, dresses, sports jackets, polos, and boots. It's really similar to casual. It's just like kind of more trendy, I think. So, and then formal for women would be a pantsuit, a dress, or a skirt suit and minimal jewelry, just like always. And then formal for men would be a black suit and tie, Oxfords, or loafers. And this is where the cufflinks come into play, and then a tie clip if you want to add that too for an accessory. Okay. So let's go into some tips and tricks for dressing for success. So any visible tattoos and additional piercings should be covered and removed if possible. Your hair should be neat and styled. This shows a lot, especially for women, because your hair displays a lot of time, right? So like you put a lot of time into making your hair look great. And so it shows your potential employer that you took the time out of your day to straighten your hair, to curl your hair, or to make sure it looks like decent, right? So your facial hair should be cleanly shaven. This is really important, but also like some men are now growing beards. Beards are pretty much in, especially in the South. So if you do have a beard, make sure that the office you're interviewing with allows facial hair, right? Because why would you want to interview for something that, you know, like you're gonna have to shave your beard one time or another. But if they do, make sure your beard is like nicely kept, right? So like put some beard oil in it, you know, make it happen. And then your makeup should appear natural. That's really important for any setting. Like you shouldn't, sometimes you can get away with like some fun eyeshadow, but like for a first impression setting, make sure it's super natural, super clean, and it just it's like enhances your features. So yeah. So all your clothes should be cleaned and pressed. That just shows that you went and did that before, that you woke up early and that you went out and did, you know, like you made sure your clothes look good, stuff like that. That just shows that you really want the job and that you're respecting your potential employer. And then this one's really important. Keep your fragrances clean and minimal. Some people could be allergic to like your perfume scent, right? And sometimes they might not like that smell at all. So they're going to associate that smell with you in the interview setting. And that's going to probably like stay in the back of their head when they're thinking about you. And so you just want to make sure whatever you wear is super clean and minimal. And then you want to stay away from logos. So like you don't want a Nike logo on your clothing. Say you're like interviewing for Adidas and you're wearing a Nike shirt. That's, like you don't really want to be wearing the competition, right? So just stay away from that. Make sure your clothes are really simple and modest. So yeah. Okay, so overall, dressing appropriately is the first step in the right direction. So this is like the first thing you have to do to be considered, right, as an employer. And then make sure you can also like include your own unique style in your outfit, but make sure you follow these guidelines. As long as you do this, you can do whatever you want outside of it. Just make sure it goes in the guidelines. So yeah. And then I have a couple sources, a lot of sources actually. It's a lot. And then that's it. So yeah.